just kept on with it. I just kept the faith. I kept believing. I kept asking him. I kept wanting. God got great life for you, man. But you're gonna have to ask for it.
We're gonna attack. So myself, my leadership team, and my entire team here at the building, we decided that we are going to be the pandemic against the pandemic. And it is then when we started to turn the ship. It is then when we started to add more locations. It is then when we started to rebuild our brand. And it is bigger, stronger, more resilient today than ever before. You must adopt that mindset. You will not be the victim in life.
I wanted to run out of that tunnel for my dad. To prove to everyone that I worked. What? That I was somebody.
If people reframed the period of life that they're going through as the price that they're paying out of their wallet, but their wallet is their time, it's the seconds of life that they're trading for it, then I think more people will be willing to make the trade. Because at least when I look at myself, like when I'm 80 something years old and I'm looking back on my life, I want to have these traits. But in order to have those traits, I know I have to go through these things. And I think for me, that's given me a lot of comfort in hard times.
All I say, any fighter, they can say what they want to say. You put him in front of me, I'm gonna beat him. You better believe that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a big mouth. Y'all want me to have somebody shut me up? And you shut me up, then that's what it is. Until then, I'm the king.
Hang on a second, man. You can fucking achieve the absolute impossible. You don't need great parents. You don't need like a private school. You don't need to have this humongous GPA and all this other shit. What you need is the one thing I talked about in my book, which is straight up brutal work ethic. You have to be willing to outwork everybody in the world. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part. This isn't like some 5-step process where if you do these 5 fucking steps, you're gonna end up with this magical world. Nah, I'm basically teaching you how to callous over your victim's mentality.
He was tired, he had personal problem, family problem. Nobody cares. You don't know, like, you just see how he fight and he go. Yeah. And for this one, you have to train so hard. If you don't want, halas. Go back to Dagestan. Nobody gonna ask about yourself. Without you or with you, there is always gonna be champions. With your name, this is your choice. Yeah. You wanna put your name there? Okay, work hard. No? Bye-bye. Yeah. It's like very simple, nothing special.
If you're willing to make that change, if you're willing to do the hard work of thinking differently, and if you're willing to do the hard work of stopping whatever patterns you got that you took on over time that got you to the point where you need to make a change, the cool thing is you get led to a path. You're put on a path. And always, always, always in that path there is work. And in some cases there's a lot of work. But it doesn't necessarily feel like work, it feels like fun.
Getting what you want is up to you. How you get there, that's up to God. See, the problem with you is you trying to figure out how to do something. Listen to this. The how-to ain't none of your business. The Bible don't tell you to figure nothing out. It say ask, believe, and receive.
So as long as you can keep your ego in check and you can let them have the credit, eventually they get promoted, the team's doing well, you'll look good, you'll get promoted, your life is easy, you're gaining experience, you've got a good reputation, like everything is going in your direction. And by the way, when that incompetent person does get promoted, who do they usually recommend that fills their spot? You, because you're the one that got them promoted. They're stoked on that. You become a superstar. That's great. Eventually, they're going to get found out, by the way. Like, incompetency can't be hidden forever. And eventually someone says, wait a second, you don't even know how to do this. That was Echo Charles that was doing this whole time.
And the reality is those people probably gave it their all for a little bit, 5-10 years maybe, but they didn't work on developing their skill set. They weren't intentional about becoming better. They believe that if they just show up and they give it their effort, that eventually things will materialize. And when those things don't materialize, they get bitter and they get pissed off and they start blaming other people. They blame their job. They blame their situation. They blame capitalism. They make up all these excuses as to why they're not getting where they want to get, when in reality, they're just missing part of the equation. And the reason that they don't know about the part of the equation about gaining skill as you put in the hard work is because nobody around them ever did that.
Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X. Because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. And so in reframing that, then it's something that I can win or measure myself against every day in real time throughout the day, which is how hard am I working? Because that is the goal.
We have to reframe our thinking about these statements. It's not just hard work and it's not just smart work. It's both. And if you lack both, you're going to be paid very little. And if you have both, you're eventually going to be able to write your own check in life of where you want to go.
It's okay to be unbalanced for a while. It's okay. Don't be all this stuff people say, you got to be balanced. To be the best in the world at what you do. It's not about being a Navy SEAL, people. The best at what you do, you have to be unbalanced to find every bit of fucking energy and strength that you have to pull it off. Then you get balanced once you become great. And then you help other people become better from you being the best in the world.
Don't stare at them. Listen to me. You don't get buff by staring at weights. You don't get buff by look. You don't get healthier by staring at it. You get healthier by running up to it and grabbing it and pushing it. Look, push through that stuff. Push through it. You can get through it. He said he won't put on you more than you can bear. You can't get through it. So I need you to work while you wait. I need you to work. Look, work on your focus, perspective. I need you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing what I'm telling you?
Most people's number one fear is public humiliation. Okay? I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not afraid of it because I've had plenty. And now it's just time for me to say I'm tough, because what does not kill you makes you stronger.
You know, trained hard because it's what I do, it's what I enjoy, I love it. You take that away from me, you may as well just handicap me completely.
Do you have to do it as well?
No, I don't have to, but I love it. I don't understand why any man would not want to go to the gym and train. I don't get that.
To feel better.
You feel good, yeah, you feel fantastic. Best feeling in the world when you've done a good training session and you've finished and you're going for a shower and a breakfast. Best time of the day as well, early in the morning for me.
Why do I think people are drawn to advice telling them to do hard things? Because I think any person, any human realizes that if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it. and if you don't work hard for something, you're not going to get an outcome that's really worth much. Or maybe it's just the team continues to do well and your job is stress-free and you continue to perform and the division that you're in grows and you get a chance to promote because everyone's getting promoted. It's like all good stuff. Or you can be angry and you can be frustrated and you can blame your own bad luck and you can not work hard and you can not do a good job and you can be recognized as a slacker and you can get blamed by the incompetent boss when things do fall short. Because that's what the incompetent boss does. He doesn't step up and take ownership of it. He says, no, you know what? I would have done a better job, but Echo was slacking. That's the problem. Now Echo gets fired. And guess what? We hire someone else to come in and they start doing a good job. The boss is still going to look good and still get promoted. It's just that you lost your job. And by the way, you lost your job with a bad reputation. Now you can't even get a recommendation for a new job. So you lose.
You can't change what you can't change. Stop trying to change the situation. It's not yours to change. Stop trying to change your wife. Stop trying to change your husband. Stop trying to change your kids. Stop trying to change your boss. Stop trying to change the program. If you could change it, it would be changed. There's only one person you can change, baby, and that person's hard, and that person is you. Work on yourself. Because watch what's going to happen. One day, E.T. going to wake up. Yup, he ain't going to be homeless no more. Yup, one day, E.T. going to wake up and he ain't going to be no high school dropout no more. Yup, one day I'm going to wake up and be exactly where I want to be. But the question is, when you so focused on change, You so focused on change that what you don't get is that once things change for you, if you don't change, you're gonna take it back to what it was anyway. Are you hearing me? So you better, what you can work on is you. And so you better get you together.
The best days of my life were ones when I had nothing left in the tank. And so then the goal becomes to empty the tank, not where I drive, but just to drive the car as hard as I possibly can. And that means that in the beginning, it's just straightaways and just seeing how high I can rev the engine. But as I become more advanced, it's like, all right, well, now we've got turns, and then it's turns in elevation, and then it's turns in elevation without guardrails because we have risk. And so when I think about how hard I want to work, the interesting thing about that is that the only person who can judge you on your success is you, because you're the only one who knows how much left in the tank you really had.
You know, the stuff that I say is in the Bible, the stuff that I say is in Stoicism, and Jordan Peterson, says the stuff that I say, or I say the stuff that he says. Again, I'm not trying to compete with Jordan Peterson on any level, especially some kind of an intellectual level, but we have similar thoughts about things, and that predated either one of us knowing who each other were. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this has been something I've been thinking about a lot, which is basically the shittiness of stuff. Which is when you're growing in a business, it's very painful. When you're stagnating in a business and you're plateaued and you don't know what to do, it's very painful. When you're declining and you also don't know what to do, it's very painful. And so that means that all conditions of reality are painful. And so if pain is a prerequisite for reality, then it means it's just a signal that we are alive. And so in thinking about that, rather than pain as a problem, it is a signal that I'm breathing, and then becomes irrelevant.
The message I try to deliver to people is play to win. Don't play to avoid loss, because the things you fear are the things that's going to happen to you. Set that target on something positive. Work for it. Expect it. Bobby Knight at Indiana University says the will to win is nothing without the will to prepare to win. See, everybody wants to win, but are you willing to prepare to win? One of the major points I often make is what you do off the job determines how far you go on the job. Every athlete, every actor, every singer, every entertainer knows that. Most doctors and attorneys and professionals know that.
And once you have the passion, the thing that you're passionate about now, you can look at other people or other entities or other things or works of art, and you can draw things from that to help you be better at what you do. By looking for those common denominators. Johnny wanted to know, how do I prepare? How do I prepare? How do I study? How do I view the game? How do you build your game? And my response is much like the way he builds products. You think sequentially. You look at the end result of what you want to create, but in order to create that, there's so many other little things that go into this massive entity or device. And it's no different than building my basketball game. You start with, what do you want your game to be? What would make your game most unstoppable or hard to deal with? And now you work backwards from there. And you start building it one piece at a time, one move at a time, one counter at a time. So there's a lot of similarities there.
Did you think I'd forgotten you? Perhaps you hoped I had. Don't waste a breath mourning, Miss Barnes. Every kitten grows up to be a cat. They seem so harmless at first, small, quiet, lapping up their saucer of milk. But once their claws get long enough, they draw blood, sometimes from the hand that feeds them. For those of us climbing to the top of the food chain, there can be no mercy. There is but one rule: hunt or be hunted. Welcome back.
Which is that most people who claim to be perfectionists are not perfectionists. They're actually procrastinating because they're not doing anything. Right. And so it just is a socially acceptable label, because the real perfectionists feel this sickness where they want to itch their skin off until the thing's done, but they are trying to get it done. Whereas the perfectionist or the procrastinator uses that to say, I'm not sure, I'm just getting it right. But the person who's an actual perfectionist, one, wants to finish and is working every hour of every day on the thing and seeing progress towards it. Because if you don't know how your thing is getting better, you're not a perfectionist, you're just ignorant.
Once you get over that, it's over. it's over. What, like, it's that all that is gonna come. Like, that's something I learned. Like, that shit is always gonna be there. So like, the grind is really what's gonna be hard though, because everybody get comfortable, everybody be doing this, everybody be doing that. And the way I be thinking is that if I'm taking any breaks, there's somebody out there right now that's literally grinding his ass off and is gonna blow up anytime now. And he or she is dead ass like working her or his ass off. And I always think like that, or I always think of like, okay, how's my grind coming up? Like, you can't get comfortable with shit unless like shit really lit. Like when after the summertime in March, I'm taking a nice break. I'm taking I'm gonna be happy. Like, that's gonna only break I'm gonna come right back in the most nonchalant way, straightforward. To get to where you want to be at is not gonna be easy at all, bro. And none of this is easy. Like, they only see when somebody, like, they gotta see the whole come up. Bro, people think my blow up was fast. People think like I went fast with shit. But bro, like, this took a minute. Streaming, I've been streaming for 2 years. But before that, to get to streaming alone, bruh, nowadays people just don't even want to work no more, bro. I done met people that literally don't want to put in the pain. They just want, oh, yo, shout me out, bro. Oh yeah, I'm gonna post my on TikTok or this shit and thing. But like, people don't want to genuinely work. That's just gonna separate you from everybody else.
You know, it's kind of Saturday afternoon. Too many people there, man. I'll tell you that much. Aren't too many winners out here in the world. I work out in there, no weights involved. Just our body weight and our ego. How bad do we want it? We made something happen right there that's going to transform the rest of our work in the gym. I mean, we broke the monotony up, made our body guess, and shocked to new situations. Take that kind of rubble back into our normal workouts. Exponential growth comes. When you do the same thing over and over again, you get the same results. When you shock it up like we just did, get ready for a little bit of a tsunami coming in of success. I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, in all honesty, if you want, I mean, there is no fundamental, like, secret here. It's called hard work and sweat. If you have that and you're willing to provide that in exchange for a better life, well, everyone will make that deal with you. If you're willing to give up that for pride, accomplishment, feeling of self-worth, if you're willing to make that transaction, Miami Fitness is your bank, and it's open every single day for your transactions. Make your deposits every fucking day. Pay your dues. Become the person you want to be. It's the easiest fucking equation in the world.
This drive and passion, and it may come from nothing. Like, for me, there was no passion, no drive, no nothing. But I had this fire that I'm going to be somebody. And it has to be there, because on all those bad days and all those days you don't want to do shit, you have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own trainer, your own everything. So to do that, you have to come into work, and work is, whatever your work may be, ready to go. And what that means is you may have failed miserably yesterday, but you come to work like, people like, man, you just lost everything. How the hell are you this fucking damn motivated? Because this is what it takes. And you got to get it from wherever you can. Whether you make up this illusion of your life or this false reality that gets you motivated, whatever gets you motivated, it's got to be here at the tip of your brain at all times. Because in those dark moments, you got to pull it out. So that's the big thing for me, man. I was always fired up at all times.
I think the more, at least for me, the more I've tried to create space between how I feel and what I do, the more consistent my outcomes have been. So if I need to create content and I'm not feeling it, or I'm feeling tired, or things like that, the more times I give into that excuse or that feeling, then the more superstitious I become about doing it in the future. Whereas a lot of times, if I can just start when I am tired or when something is painful and then still execute about the same as before, I look at game tape or I look at video or look at the content from those sessions, for example, and I see that I remember feeling terrible during the session, but you can't really see anything. And I think the more times you get that loop going, the more you can separate how you feel and what is required. And the more times you do what is required to get what you want, the more times you get what you want.
Work while you wait. Yup, I said it. For real, for real. You don't know how long it's gonna take, right? But if you stop now, if you quit now, the one thing I can tell you is for certain it's never gonna happen. So the first thing I need you to do is, like, you cannot stop. Like okay, all right, rest if you must, but you cannot stop and question life. Like you cannot stop and question your circumstance and situation, so much so that while you could be working, while you could be further along the road, less travel, you sitting there contemplating, like you're sitting there moaning about it. You're sitting there complaining about it. And I get it. I'm not minimizing your struggle. I get it. I understand. But you gotta work. You gotta work. Because what happens if you wake up 30 days later and you there? What happens if you wake up 60 days later and the change is coming? You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna wake up 60 days later, 90 days later, and everything's gonna change but you. And you're gonna get the same results you got before it happened because you're the exact same person. So work while you wait.
We flew back to LA that night, and I got home, it's probably like 3 a.m, and I went down to the high school, which is down the street from our house. And the janitor let me in the gym, and I shot all day. All day. I mean, all day. And this was right after that playoff game. And I didn't leave the gym. I just kept shooting and practicing. And I got a chance to let out the steam of disappointing my teammates and millions of fans. I got a chance to let all that out instead of bottling it up. And envision that moment over and over. That was a huge something for me because I felt like everybody had written me off after those air balls. And I was really excited when the schedule came out and I saw we had Utah.
A lot of entrepreneurship and even personal growth is training yourself on how you respond to hard. Because in the early days, hard was, ooh, stop. This isn't good. This is a warning sign. This is a red flag. I should slow down or I should stop, I should pivot. The more I think about it as a competitive landscape, as I'm clear on what this path is supposed to look like, and these rocks and these dragons are things that I'm going to have to slay along the way to get the princess or get the treasure, I get happier about the harder it is because I know that no one else will follow.
It's a selection effect.
And I think if you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's going to have to fucking try.
Yeah.
And I think that is so much more motivating as a frame for the exact same circumstance.
But one thing I would say is that if I'm being completely real, like not everybody's going to be able to, make it. You feel me? Because I think it takes a little luck. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it takes just a little, like, the right time, the right place. Timing. Yeah, but dedication for sure. Like, dedication and, like, when at the right time, consistency. But, but people don't understand that, like, slow motion is better than, like, no motion. Like, facts. Like, slow progress is way better than just not having nothing. And I feel like today's, like, right now, people aren't patient. Like, I swear to God, I just feel like people are not patient with the blow up.
There's lots of people that work really hard digging ditches every day and that are digging ditches when they're 70 years old. There's lots of people who work really, really hard for a long time and never make it. And that's because working hard is just part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle is how high your skill set is, how developed your skill set is. And so we have these people that say these things like, work smart, not hard, all right? Well, you're a fucking moron, all right? I'm going to tell you that right now, because it takes both. It takes hard work and it takes smart work. So while you have to be putting in the work and you have to be showing up and you have to be giving it all you have to consistently be aware and conscious of the intentional skill set that you are building along the way. If you do not have the skill set and you just work hard, you're going to get paid a fraction of what you could get paid if you actually intentionally built skills to go along with it.
The evidence of things not seen, even though you can't see if it's 30 days, even if you can't see if it's 60 days, even if you can't see it's 90 days, even if it seems like you're going to go through this for the rest of your life, I need you to have faith. Faith, I told you, is believing in the dark what you were told in the light. And if you were told you was going to get that degree, just keep working. If you were told you were going to get that promotion, just keep working. If you were told you was going to win that championship, just keep working. Nobody said it would be easy. Again, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So I need you to work on your faith. I need you to work on your faith. I need you to wake up every day and say, today ain't the day, but my day coming. And I will not give up, and I will not give in until I get to that day. I will not stop. I will not give up. I will not give in until my day comes.
Whether you like it or not, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, a lot of us are at war with ourselves. And within that war, you have several battles. Those battles are basically choices. No, I'm not talking about a war that you might find in the Coliseum. I'm talking about a war that's in your brain. That war exists because life has so many choices. Within those choices, you gotta make right decisions. But you know what? Fuck that. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you don't have to wake up. Don't wake up, don't worry about that. When you're in school, you know what? Fuck that, man. It's too hard to study, so don't study. You know what? Don't eat healthy, because you don't have to. So guess what? When you fail, don't blame your mom, don't blame your dad, don't blame teachers. One person you have to blame is yourself. I'd rather you hate me and get better than like me and stay the same. A lot of us are full of shit. I was one of those people back in the fucking day. And sometimes I'm still full of shit. We think that we're working our ass off, working hard. You know, we've been working out hard in the gym for a month, but we haven't seen any results. So we get all fucking down and poopy pants and shit. You studied for 30 minutes for a fucking test, and you didn't do as well as you thought. What the fuck did you expect? You're not putting in the work. You have to do more. You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of shit, man. I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. It's not until then, once you get there, that's when you fucking know you've done enough. Stay hard.
Work on your focus. Perspective is everything. And let me tell you something. The problem with most of you is that you see difficult as something negative. For real, for real. I want you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing me? I need you to see difficult differently. Now, that weightlifter, when my man looking at those weights, when he got that iron is heavy. But he's not looking at that iron like, look how heavy the iron is. And he knows what it's going to do. It's going to tear his muscles to pieces. He gets it. But what he understands is that if he tears them down, they're going to rebuild themselves. And when they rebuild themselves, they're that much stronger. Listen to me. The more you go through, the more difficult it is, the more challenging it is. Listen to me, the harder it is. Are you hearing me? The more challenging it is, all you're doing, baby, is building muscle.
You got the second wind? Well, the problem is, most people, when they go on a run, they never exhaust their first wind. They never go to the extreme, to the level of fatigue, where the first wind expires, where they realize there's even a second wind to begin with. They sit there and make excuses here and excuses there. There is no excuse for not being the hardest worker. Yeah, someone might be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, younger, whatever else, but there is no excuse to not be the hardest fucking worker there. And when you believe that you have the ability to do something, that the life that you're living right now is going down this direction, you fucking hate where it is, there is nothing else to do but to change direction. A belief that I cannot go that way anymore, I gotta go this way. And what do you have to lose? You know the outcome if you continue the same shit. Why not just commit one time in your life to something? See what happens. There are no losers.
So this guy just passed me. He said, Goggins, just be average today. Some of you just don't understand. Some of you been average for so damn long, you don't know what it is to do hard work. But there's a lot of you out there who want to be much more than average, but just don't know how to do it every single day, the grind. You need to find someone to oil those fucking gears up. So check it out. This is a mindset. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But there's a motherfucker out there who wants what you have, who wants the position you are, who wants the job you have, who wants the wife that you have, or the husband There's someone out there hungry and wants everything you fucking have. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if it is, it's gonna be your ass. So make that a motivation for you.
Being humble, playing the game. Hey, I'll do the menial paperwork. I'll work these extra hours. I'll do these things that don't really help me. He's playing the game and he's being humble, right? But he's also, it sounds like, being passive, meaning he needs to up his assertiveness to say, hey, listen, hey boss, I just want to let you know, I put together this spreadsheet of what I've actually get accomplished, and here's the things that I want to get done, and I know I'm trying to knock out all the stuff, and I'm here to support the team, but I also need to get these things done. Can you help me get these things scheduled so that I can be more value to you and the team? So yeah, you build the relationship through playing the game. You build the relationship by giving support wherever you can, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you just roll over and never stand up for yourself.
We're gonna be stronger and more capable also. Leg up in society, get the edge, own it, work for it, fight for it, caress it, give birth to it. With that comes whatever dream you want. It begins today, it continues tomorrow, and it never fucking dies. This is second place, if that. It's not you. Don't ever sell yourself so short to think that this is something that you can live with.
I used to define power by the distance between thoughts and reality. Meaning, if you think about somebody who's omnipotent, so if God or the God figure would be omnipotent, as he thinks, things are. So there's zero space between thoughts and reality. And so if we want to be more God-like in our lives, the distance that we can shrink between wanting to do something or thinking something should be done and it being done is a direct indication of our personal power in our lives. And so that has helped me basically think, don't be a powerless bitch. Like, just shrink the gap. And I think that's why a lot of my little like personal hacks of waking up and then trying to shrink the time between when I wake up and when I start working, and shrinking the time between one task and the next task. Like, you don't need to take 30 minutes of getting ready to start working. Like, you can just start working, because as soon as you get into it, you start pulling the thread and you're like, oh, here it is. And all of the time that I was getting ready to work, I was just using up my best brain power time on things that truly don't move the needle at all. A lot of people have a hard time doing is being okay with saying no and saying, okay, I will allow myself to just not get fatter rather than get fitter during this period. And what's interesting about most skills is that the amount of effort that it takes to maintain a skill versus the amount of effort it takes to grow a skill is like 1/10 the amount of effort. And so this is where the effort arbitrage is so important in terms of allocation. And so if you do a 4 out of 10 on 10 things, you will make progress on none. You will make the same amount of progress that you could have made if you just did 1 out of 10, which is none. You just don't regress. But the extra 3 points that you save on the 9, you could put on one other item and have a 10 out of 10 or a 13 out of 10 in effort. And then after every periodized chunk of time, have a big W or win that you can look back on and say, I did that, and therefore I am. I've always been a maximizer. So I've actually not really been an optimizer in my life. It's just like, as soon as I have an input-output equation where it's like n equals x, and it's like, and if I want 10x, I do 10n, I'm like, great, then can we do 1000n? Like, I just want to do as much of that as I humanly possible. But when we, like, I love competitors who like optimizing, because I always see it as a weakness. Because it's so easy to exploit. It's like, oh, you need your 8 hours of sleep, or you need your morning routine, or if you don't have your supplements, you're just totally fucked. Or like, I didn't have my coffee this morning, so I can't function. Like, I love to compete against people like that because they're so easy to break. It's fragile. Yeah. And so what happens is the optimizations become superstition.
When you push yourself that hard, you sleep easy at night. And it's not because you're physically tired. It's not because physically you're worn out that you sleep easy. It's that by going the physical exhaustion, your brain can finally rest, knowing you give it your all. So when you physically push yourself that hard, you sleep easy because your mind's at rest. then you did everything you could to be a champion that day. That's the difference. That's what gives you the strength to get off the ground and do it again.
There's a gift and a curse to it. The gift is that it gives you an opportunity to talk to your fan base, generate a fan base, gives you an opportunity to create material, push that material, and you can do it in a way to where it's all you. And if people grow and gravitate towards it, great, you're building something. The curse is, if you read those comments, and you believe those comments, then you become the comments. If you don't give a about it, you're fine. You're fine. 500 comments or 1,000 comments or 2,000 comments has nothing to do with when you walk outside and you go about your day. Nobody that you bump across is gonna go, hey man, I'm the one that said this on your page.
Right.
It never happens.
Yeah.
Because it's not real. So my process of it and the way that I receive it is very grounded. I have a grounded sense of reality, and I'm very thankful for that. If that moved, changed, I'm in trouble.
There are so many people working so hard and achieving so little, and that's the lack of correlation between inputs and outcomes.
I think the vast majority of business owners, I come from the business perspective, the vast majority of business owners work a fair amount. They just work on the wrong stuff and they do it the wrong way. And so they get so little for their effort that they wonder when they're at home empty-handed in bed, why isn't this working when I am working? But if you define work, at least the way I do, which is output. So I define work by output. And in order to get output, it's volume times leverage. So how many times you do the thing times how much you get for each time you do it. And so that is do you work smart or do you work hard? It's you do both. You do as many reps as you possibly can, and you do it with the most leverage possible. So if I make 100 phone calls, the leverage that I can have there would be how skilled I am. So if I make 100 calls, I might get 10 times more. And so I worked more, I had more output than somebody who has less skill. But the only way you get skilled is by doing more inputs, by working more.
The gang gonna test you. You know what I mean? The gang, everything gonna test you if it's worthwhile.
Right.
And you gonna make decisions based on what you care about more. And without even being conscious that you're getting tested, you're gonna be getting tested. And so you're gonna have decisions to make. Should I, continue this lifestyle, whether it's shopping, clothes, whatever your lifestyle is, or do I gotta sacrifice a little bit because I really, really care about this music? And it really is important to me. So whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do it. And that's gonna be them distinguishing decisions, you know what I'm saying? That separate the ones that end up getting it from the ones that don't. I be telling my people, like young niggas that ask me for advice and whatnot, I had to take 2 steps back and take 10 forward. But them 2 back hurt, that's painful. That moment right there is gonna be a defining moment. You know what I mean? Where you used to getting treated a certain way, you used to getting received a certain way, and then you step back because of your sacrifice.
Talent and skill set might betray you along the journey if they don't have a consistency of mindset and they don't have a certain level of fortitude in every fiber of their being. At a certain point, you can have a cat that's talented, or you can have a cat that has character, and you know what he bringing to the table every single day. Right? You got cats that's talented that tap out. Like anybody can go 1 or 2 downs. Right? Anybody can go 3 downs. But it's very seldom that you find a cat when he's standing in that tunnel till it's 4 zeros on that clock, he's gonna give you everything. That's a man to me, right? Most cats, little boys, right? They get what they want. I tell my son all the time, I'm like, Ink, it's a big difference between a hard worker and somebody that works hard, right? Most cats are somebody that works hard. If the situation and the circumstance is what they want it to be, they're going to come out and they're going to act accordingly and they're going to give you everything they got. But a hard worker, regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what happened, I'm going to show up and I'm going to give everything I got to it because I'm working for something that's totally different.
No matter how hard you work, there is somebody on the inside of you that works even harder. He said, no matter how dedicated you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more dedicated. No matter how committed you are, there is somebody on the inside of you that's more committed, and you don't even know what commitment is yet. You think commitment is just saying, yes, I'll do it, but what commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have said it in has left, meaning on the days when you don't feel like doing what you said you would do, you get up and you do it anyway. That's what builds character. And he said, I need you to understand the concept that there's another person on the inside of you, because one day in your life, you will face something that's a lot tougher than you, and your strength and your drive and your commitment and your work ethic won't do it. You will have to realize that it's something on the inside of you that's greater than anything that life can throw at you. And immediately I got it. And so when my life changed, not only did my football career end, I got a paralyzed right arm and hand behind me. Life changed overnight. But I was extremely grateful for it, because the whole time I understood that you have to tap into in order to get through one of the darkest, toughest, roughest moments of your life. There's another person on the inside of you.
How hard should you work? Well, that's a really difficult question. If you're going to die tomorrow, and then you probably shouldn't work very hard today at all. So one thing you might say is that the degree to which you should work hard is dependent on your assumptions about the stability of the future. We actually know this to be true, because if you put people in wildly uncertain circumstances, they discount the future, which is exactly what you should do, right? It only makes sense to store up goods for future consumption if the future is likely to be very similar to the past and the present. You need a stable society for that. And conscientiousness only works in a stable society, because all you do otherwise, if you're piling up goods, which is kind of what conscientious people do, is leaving them there for the criminals to take, or waiting for the next chaotic upheaval to wipe out everything that you've stored.
I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop, and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all gonna starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor, what do I do? It was, I'm poor, I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Dunno. Where can I get some cash? Dunno. What work can I do? Dunno. I'll just go for a run then. And I'd just go for a 3-mile run.
Are you going to sit around and wait for your own bolt of lightning of luck to hit you? Is that what you're going to do? I don't recommend that. Instead, I recommend that you step up, and yes, you do work harder, and you do the best possible job that you can do, and you take some pride in what you're doing and how you're doing it, and you do it better than they could, not to rub their nose into it, not to prove that you can do it better, but out of professionalism. That's why you do it. Now, one outcome that can come from that is they get credit for your work. And that makes you all mad. No, that's actually good. Because if they get credit for your work, guess what? The work's going well, they're going to get promoted. And they get the recognition. Okay, that's fine. But they know where the actual credit goes, even if they don't give it to you. That's not what we're talking about here. The difference is you're not building a relationship just so you can take care of yourself, right? That's different. That means I'm just looking out for me. Yeah. You're building a relationship so that you can move down the right path, which, by the way, is going to make you a bigger asset to the team. So it's a win-win situation. Make sure you build that relationship and then talk to them about what it is you're trying to get done, why you're trying to get it done, and that way we move forward down the path. And by the way, if they're like, shut up and just do this paperwork, or shut up, we're not going to help you, cool. Maybe we need to find a place that has a little bit better opportunity for me, and I'll start to float that out there. Yeah. Humble, not passive. No, we want to take the hard road. Yeah. We want to do things that don't make any sense. Yeah. We want to do things inefficiently. No. Yes, efficiency is important, not only in jiu-jitsu, not only in judo, but in business and in life.
Well, there was a 2-year period where I did turnarounds for gyms. I flew around the nation. Every month I would do a new gym. I ate out of gas stations, and I ate gas station food, and I gained weight during that period of time. And it was for then and not forever, and I'm in shape now, and so whatever, who cares? And so, like, I used to tell this when I was selling weight loss to people. I'd say, like, who cares if you get in shape for 6 weeks out of 80 years? And, like, right as they're about to sign up for a membership, I was like, you want to sign, and then this is how I would sell longer memberships, but, like, it's also true. It's like, you want to sign up for the 6 weeks, but, like, Susan, Like, who cares if you lose 20 pounds and you're still overweight 6 weeks from now, and then you gain it back the next 6 weeks and you're still the exact same weight for the rest of your life? And so I think the absolute dedication to maximization so that it becomes a part of your identity and your character has been one of the outsized returns that I've gotten in my life. Because if you sacrifice everything, there's nothing left than to do the one thing that matters. And I think Jerry Seinfeld talks about this from a writing perspective. He says that every day, no matter what, he sits down and he writes for 2 hours. Now, he doesn't have to write, but he's not allowed to do anything else. And so he can sit there, but there's nothing else to do except for write jokes. And so I think a lot about that from the climb perspective, which is like, most of everyone who's listening to this who isn't achieving what they want is fucked with their time. They think that they're spending all their time working, but your output, like, you don't even know how to work. I'm being really real with you. Like, you think you know how to work, you don't know how to work. Like, the amount of output, like, and I'll measure this by, like, what is your output? It's probably not as high as you think. And so rather than trying to learn all these productivity hacks, the ultimate productivity hack is no. N-O. Is you stop doing shit. And then when you create space, then you can fill it with the thing that matters. But trying to add on more to your schedule of all the things that you're not willing to sacrifice is the very reason that you're not doing what you need to do.
So he said, if you don't want me to worry about your SATs, just get good grades. Okay. So I said, cool. For the next 2 years, all I'm going to do is get good grades. I didn't date. I didn't party. I didn't drink. I literally didn't leave my dorm room. I worked. I put my head down for 2 years and I just worked. And I got, if it wasn't a 4.0, it was like a 3.95 or something. So it's never that clean. Like, I want my story to be, hey, I learned that if I just put my head down and work my ass off, I can get whatever I want. That is unfortunately not what I learned, because I believed at the time you're either talented or you're not. So I wasn't in film school to become a filmmaker. I was in film school to learn the technical side. How do you turn on a camera? Where do you put a light? Things like that. But I thought you either have the ability to tell a story or you don't. So I believed myself to be a natural filmmaker. I just believed I had talent.
All week you was work hard. End of the week, if you don't tired, this is good question. You have to worry about yourself. But this is Saturday. Your 6th day, you work so hard. Of course you're gonna tired. Tomorrow rest, and Monday we're gonna begin one more training. If you don't want, go back to Dagestan and stay with your mom. She's gonna give you every day good breakfast. You don't do nothing. Stay there. But if you come here, don't complain. You wanna become best. You wanna become champion. And now you wanna say like you tired? Who cares? You tired or not? Nobody care about you. Even you, if you're gonna watch fight, you just watch fight. They walk out inside the cage, they fight, and they leave. You don't know what happened behind the scenes. This is not your business. Nobody care about this.
You should be feeling a burn, man. You should be coming to life right now. This should be like your mojo. This is the juice that's gonna oil your machine and conquer every endeavor you want in life. The principles you're learning right here. The sweat equity of it all. Going through the trials and tribulations and coming out on top. Or even better yet, getting knocked down and finding the intestinal fortitude and stand back up and go at it again, man. This is honest work. Things that come too easy in life leave easy too. This you build forever. It's your foundation, your bedrock. Doesn't disappoint you. If you give it the time it needs, it pays it back to you tenfold. And then life's fun.
So I'm here to tell you that it will take longer. It will be more difficult. It will require more effort on your part. But you know what I can tell you about that? When you do the hard things, you will have a happy and easy life. But if you constantly choose to take the path of easy and negotiate and compromise, you will have a hard life that ends with regret. So I'm here to tell you that if you live a no compromise life, if you become unreasonable in your expectations, find a group of fighter jets to belong to and no more fucking crop dusters, you will become the 2.0 that you deserve to become and that your family deserves to have as a leader.
My message needs to be in a way where I can hit all 25 people. It needs to be broad enough to where all 25 people may not like the message, but they're getting something from it. And that is evolution. You must continue to evolve. And you don't evolve, for me, in my job, unless I cap myself somewhere and say, okay, you made this much money, get back to fucking work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast.
Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the fucking noise. Get back to the fucking mental lab, because that's where the knowledge came from.
Can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're doing? In other words, if you don't get what you thought you was gonna get, will you still be the same individual? If the situation don't turn out the way you thought it would turn out, will you still be the same individual? The quote says it, you judge the character of a man not by where he stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge the character of a man by where he stand in times of challenge and controversy. Like, I don't care what a cat do when everything goes right. I don't, because everybody knows to smile. Everybody gonna celebrate when you win a game. Everybody gonna be in your corner and talking about how great you are.
If you don't know what you're doing, aim at something. Is it the right thing? No, but it's better than just shooting randomly. So you aim at something, and then as you aim and you move towards it, you're gonna find out why you're wrong. And then you might recalibrate your aim. And that's going to happen over and over, because as you move towards a goal, it recedes or it broadens, or it recedes and broadens, and otherwise you'd run out of things to do.
You can't be the best in the world at something, but you can be a lot better than you are at anything you want to put the time into learning, whatever it is. You could do anything. And that's a great, inspiring feeling, and I feel like I bring that into the art, where I already had great confidence, but even more so, I now know anything is possible at any time.
Wow.
Just if you have to do the work.